half.
But these aren't yet, you see. The provisional isn't. This is the point. I'm not being difficult here, but it is the cart before the horse. Until you actually have, I assume, what is equivalent of a white election, with everyone voting for someone, you don't have a leader. So you can be in this limbo land for a long time.
The reaction of communities right across the country to the proposal of provisional government is, well, that's a good idea, but... And then to go through and list just so many problems.
What's their major but?
Well, we haven't been spoken to, and some press articles have carried this statement that, for instance, they're saying that Michael said that, well, we're going to set up a state south of Alice Springs. Now, I spoke to some of the people from the centre, and they're saying, oh, hang on, we own this land, you haven't talked to us yet. Now, what's going on? And you can run the risk of offending those people whose dignity and pride is one of the things which has carried them through some very hard times.
I've got a final question. Well, getting to the final question is it hard to motivate Aborigines on these causes, or are they so despondent that a lot of them don't care?
It's not hard at all. You see, we are not creating an idea out of nothing, out of a vacuum. In fact, Aboriginal people have been talking about Aboriginal sovereignty, and they've been expressing their ideas in Aboriginal sovereignty and saying, listen, you guys have got to start doing something, set up the structures. And finally, we've done it. We have finally, after a decade of sitting around talking about it, done it. So it's not a case of we're going to lead you down a garden path. People are saying, listen, get off your butts and do something, or we've responded. And I think it's very easy to motivate the community.
I disagree with a lot of what you said, Michael, except that we cannot afford the risk of setting people up to establish an agenda for Aboriginal people, which Aboriginal people yet do not have confidence in. It's true, we've been talking about sovereignty, it's been true, we've been talking about community control for many, many years. But when it comes to something as fundamental and as big as setting up a national government for Aboriginal people, there has got to be steps taken before which address the need for proper consultation and consent from the people. We can't talk to obviously every Aboriginal people. Some Aboriginal people don't like to identify. So you've obviously got that sort of a problem. But where you have got well-established and organisations which have operated for many, many years, like some of the land councils, like some of the health services, like some of the other community councils, we are compelled to seek their comment and to in fact get their endorsement. In doing that, it only makes the push for the realisation of community control and of sovereignty that much stronger, because we know we have the people behind us. People run a problem, this is not personally between Michael and I, but you run a problem that leaders can run so far ahead of the people that the people sit there and they watch them way out there in the distance and say, what are they doing?
The trouble is, I think, that the leadership is falling behind the community and we've got to catch up.
The trouble is, and finally, is it could take 200 years. Sorry, I don't want to pick that figure. Well, I'm all for it. I think it's terrific. I think it's a great idea. I just wonder, and the obvious problem is you ultimately got to change the Constitution. And you know what white Australians are like for changing the Constitution. That's your biggest stumbling block. Well, we've run out of time, which is a shame because I had lots of other things to discuss with both of you. Thank you for coming in. We expect to hear more of it all. And we hope for some change. We all have to change, don't we? And I shall return after this break.
When you get the feel for turbo-powered sports performance, dynamic tracking suspension, speed-sensing power steering, you won't ever want it to stop. Mazda RX-7, surprisingly spirited.
We're here to help. We're here to help you with a smile, the fresh food way.
Hi, I'm Sue, and how are you? So I'm special. It's quite a big load, isn't it?
We're the Woolworths fresh food people.
Thank goodness for your car park. I think you might need home delivery, Mrs. Morton.
We're the Woolworths fresh food people, with so much more.
Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.
The wash bowl in the Hoover Elite is larger than its major competitor, so it cleans 20% more. That's 4 extra bath towels.
Well, that's a load off my mind.
Hoover, put you ahead of the rest.
we've recently made a number of interesting changes to our business class. One of them is the name. Introducing Raffles Class. It's more than just business as usual.
It's on again, the Sip and Save Mark of the Day competition. And footy fans, you could be the big winners. Pick up an entry form from any Sip and Save outlet, watch 9 Sunday Footy Show, name the player who takes the Mark of the Day, and you could win the Sir James Cuvée Brook gift pack. All entries are eligible for the major prizes: Adelaide Hilton International Luxury Weekends and a Penang holiday flying Ansett and Malaysian Airlines with accommodation at the Golden Sands. Hardy's Wines and Sip and Save support the SANFL Player Retention Scheme.
I ran out of the tin. I said to Michael, the dingo's got the baby.
10 years after Azaria disappeared, fears that history will repeat itself.
I sort of just froze with fear at first.
Either a child is going to lose its life or we are going to lose our dingoes.
A Current Affair, tomorrow, 6:30, following National 9 News at 6.
We sort of ran out of time in that interview. A lot of reactions from people when they see Mr. Mansell is he's not black, and he says he's Aboriginal. And we had that discussion. He had a great answer for it, so next time he comes on, I'll ask him the question because he has a good answer for all of that. But I won't reveal it because it's up to him to do it. But I wish them well with that. We are corporately guilty about what happened 200 years ago. We should now turn the corporate guilt into some action for us all. For us all. Right, now Jeff Watson is still with us, as much as Jeff ever is. And he's done a little story. Well, it came from Brazil. It has its links in the mambo. And who remembers the mambo? I speak, of course, of the lambada, the dance craze from South America, which takes its name from the Spanish to lambast something, or lambast something. The main feature of the lambada is that the thigh of the male is thrust between the legs of the female. Something which has caused some concern in polite circles. Disgusting, isn't it? I can't believe I'm reading this. Jeff Watson, who has mastered home computers, gene splicing, that's G-E-N-E, not genes, and the space shuttle, but has not yet grasped the modern waltz, takes up the story.
The lambada, is it an Italian motorbike, a type of Spanish lamington, or a newly emergent African state? No, he said smugly, reaching for his riso. It's the latest dance craze that's sweeping the world. Now, I'm the sort of bloke that likes a quiet life. You know the sort of thing, a weekly game of whist with my maiden aunt. I'm usually in bed by 9:30 with a cup of cocoa and my stamp collection. But this lambada is perfectly outrageous. I mean, it's not the sort of thing for a Masonic evening, is it?
It's a combination of rhythmic, earthy dance. It is rather sensuous, it is interesting, it is a playful dance, and the degree in which the individual expresses the dance depends on how they feel about it.
Okay, Jeff, let's do a bit of a variation now, something a little bit more challenging,
My God, this is sensational, yes.
I know.
Yes.
You just do exactly the same thing, the basic step. I'm going to move away from you, so you're going to start on this leg here. Okay?
Don't we make a wonderful couple in
We
there?
do, don't we look good?
I know.
Okay, here we go. And... Okay, very well done. I think we're into the next step now. We've got to get together.
Which is getting together?
Okay,
My God.
come with me. Now, what you're going to do is center yourself a little bit on this side. That's
When you
it.
say centre, it's like taking
Yeah,
middle wicket, really.
Yeah, your leg is sort of in between mine, all
Okay.
right? This
What?
hand's going to be on the curve of my back.
Mm.
Separate the frame a little bit. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same thing.
Which
all
way?
Right? To the left.